That's good. Let's start with that. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm very happy that you came up and joined me so we can dive a little deeper in our Taiji Qigong Shibashi Set 2 training together. As usual, little disclaimer, I'm teaching this under the assumption that you have some basic of Qigong. I'm not going over the very basic elements, but rather a little further through Taiji Qigong Shibashi. You are responsible of your body and your own health as you're doing these movements because I'm not there to do it for you. I cannot watch you and guide you personally. This being said, if you would be interested with that, you can just comment it in the comment or send me an email via my website, qigong18.com, and I'll be more than happy to set a private classes with you virtually online. It's pretty much the same thing as in person. So receiving guidance in Qigong is always important to make sure we have all the maximum understanding of all the details that are being shared so that our experience can be richer. Now, let's get into today's class. We're continuing with Taiji Qigong Shibashi Set 2. Last time we did movement number 8, the stork praying at the moon, and we're touching one of my favorite movement, I would say, within the whole Shibashi system for a few reasons, and a lot of its very good effect of moving the chi through the body, particularly in the current season, helping out the opening of the breathing so that we can have a better lung capacity, connecting the meridians from the legs through the arms, allowing to circulate the chi and expel used chi as we're gathering fresh chi from the earth. So it's a very important movement within the system. It's one of the movement that Professor Lin selected for set 8, which is the quintessential form of his system. Yeah, so a very fun movement and very relaxing yet energizing aspect to do. So let's play together. And as usual, if you have any question, I have my computer open on the side. I can see when the question pops up, and when I take a break, I can go read them and answer them. So please, I really like this interaction. If you're watching the replay, just leave me in the comment section your question, and I'll be happy to reply to you as well. Let's go. So as usual, feet parallel, about hip width apart, so that you can feel comfortable sitting on your legs, feeling how the lower abdomen can start to breathe, fill up, feeling how it kind of fills up from the front, the perineum, and then the back as it starts to go up the spine to the top of the head, and then coming back down as we exhale. And because this movement has a very good way to feel how the breath connects and creates the movement through the arm and all the way to the palm, we'll take a little bit more time to feel our breath. We did that in some of the other movement before, but this one is really a particularly good one to do this. So first, as we're here, you can open up your thumb, place your hand just above the iliac crest so you can feel the soft tissue around the waist, your index being about belly button height, and then stretching a little bit the fingers downward, the thumb being just on the outside of the paravertebra muscle, so you can feel that nice little spot. And putting just a tiny bit of pressure on the waist so that when you inhale, you feel the pressure of the inhale pushing out the front, the side, and the back so that you inflate the whole lower abdomen. At first, just observing how your breathing is today. Inhaling. And exhaling gently without any effort. Here, let me align myself a little more with the camera. Inhaling, filling up the lower abdomen. Exhaling. And for now, just focusing on the lower abdomen for the breath. Maintaining the legs relaxed, the knees slightly bent, feeling almost like a pneumatic bounce in your legs if you were to move, not to create tension, but to feel that relaxedness and elasticity in the legs. And now to see if you're having the optimal layer or depth of breath in your abdomen, we'll bring your shoulder back, roll them up towards the ears, and then close them forward. This posture should feel very pressured on the upper chest. It's not a comfortable posture and is designed in such a way that it collapses the upper part of the lungs, maintaining it closed, forcing you to really use the diaphragm to push down and push the organs through the abdominal cavity to bring them as low as possible. So as we're doing this, inhaling and feeling how much more pressure you can feel in the lower abdomen. And if you feel that all of a sudden there's a lot more space, then it's a sign that you weren't breathing as fully through the lower abdomen as you could have before. So taking 2 more breaths this way. Feeling how much space that helps us to feel in the lower abdomen. Gently exhaling. Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. And now continuing to breathe deeply in the abdomen while releasing the shoulder, making sure we keep the same amount of space on our inhale. And if you start to feel that you're losing a little bit of depth, then you can again roll the shoulder, close the upper lungs, have some more deeper breaths in the lower abdomen. And once you feel it again, relaxing the shoulder, opening the upper lungs, but maintaining that depth of breath through the diaphragm and the lower abdomen. Let's do one more deep abdominal breathing. Good. Now moving on to thoracic breathing. So taking the thumb, placing it on the lateral line of the body, just below the axilla area, the armpit, more or less at nipples height. You'll have a point that's spleen 21 for those of you who know acupuncture points. If not, you can look it up later. It's fairly easy to find. And if you're not quite on it at this point, it's not super important for the part we're doing now. Opening the fingers to the side so you can feel the side and the back of the ribs, and this time allowing the shoulder to rotate backwards, sinking the shoulder blades so that when you inhale, you can feel how the ribs open up through the back. And when you exhale, let them come back closer together to fully open the ribs and have the maximum capacity of the inhale. So right now we're focusing only on the rib part, and then after we'll connect abdominal breathing and thoracic breathing together. So feeling how the ribs open mostly in the back. Try to avoid pushing the chest forward as you inhale so that you really get all the space that you can through the opening of the ribs. The lungs are mostly towards the back. They're not so much in the front because the heart is here. And so a wide part of the lungs comes from opening the movement of the back. And if we're pushing it forward, we're blocking some of it. So we want to get the maximum inhale from the lungs, from the thoracic layer as we're opening the ribs here. And exhaling. Let's do one more. Up. Exhaling, relaxing the shoulders, and just being here, try to see if you can still feel that expansion of the ribs as you inhale. Feel how the back is filling up and is strong while the front remain calm and relaxed. And exhaling, calming all of the body. And now adding from abdominal breathing first and then thoracic. Feeling like earlier how the abdomen can start to fill up. First the front, then through the perineum, and then the back. Once the back is open, feeling how the shoulder blades sink towards the back, get closer to the spine, and allow the rib cage to open. So abdominal and thoracic. And exhaling. Again, abdominal, thoracic, and exhale. So to verify if your diaphragm is strong enough, we want to make sure that once we breathe through the abdomen and that the lower abdomen is full, that the diaphragm remain low, keeping the pressure on the lower abdomen as the ribs open. If we lose some of that pressure, if the opening of the rib kind of sucks the diaphragm up a little bit, although we're still inhaling, we're not inhaling as much as we could to really fill up the lungs. So we're losing a little bit of the full space and we're moving the air through the different lobes of the lung because the diaphragm is moving up a little bit. So first, taking one hand to feel the abdominal breathing, and then taking another one to feel the thoracic breathing. Inhaling through the lower abdomen first, filling up through the back, and then opening the ribs on top of it, and making sure that you maintain that pressure in the lower abdomen, and then just gently exhaling. So again, lower abdomen, then thoracic in the back, up and exhale. And if you feel you're losing some of the pressure, it's a sign you should practice abdominal breathing independently a little more just to reinforce the strength of the diaphragm. Let's do this one more time. And exhale. And relaxing both arms. So through this cycle of the breath, then we also have to add the upper thoracic and the opening of the skull. For the movement we're doing, this part is present but not as important as really developing the first two. So we're going to just concentrate on this at the moment. Dragon testing its palm is a movement where we gather the chi from the earth, pulling it through the legs, through the torso, all the way on top of the shoulders, allowing the arm to then sink, flowing the chi through the arm, through the palm as we push and sit. So here I'm grabbing the chi from the earth, straightening the legs, allowing my shoulders to open, allowing the shoulder blade to sink, which create a pulley effect through my humerus, lifting my elbows up and rotating my arm so that now my elbow can come down. And then as I'm sinking, pushing forward. So here, as I'm starting to pull, I want to keep my shoulders down. I don't want to lift my shoulders up, but I let my shoulder blades start to sink, which then has a pulley effect through my arm, pulling the elbow out, maintaining my shoulder low, creating that rotation until the elbow comes down, and then pushing out. So as I'm here, pulling through the leg, lower abdomen, torso, upper torso, up, and then pushing out. And now starting to use the breath, inhaling through the abdomen, filling it up until my hands reach about diaphragm level, then the thoracic. Opening, feeling that expansion of the ribs, which helps support my arm as my elbow are rising. Up, feeling the strength through the back, and then as I gently exhale, feeling the strength from my back as if I'm pushing against a wall behind me and pushing through the front gently. Grabbing, inhale as I'm pulling through. Up, exhale as I'm pushing out. Grabbing, rising, gently straightening the leg as I'm inhaling. Exhale, slightly bending the knees, sitting down on my legs as I'm pushing forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. And down. So there's a few hand gesture that we're using with this movement. The first, when we start to grab, we want to gently close the fist, one finger after the other, up, while not tightening it. So I don't want to have a strong, tight grip. It's almost like if I'm just grabbing a big duvet because it's a little cold outside when I'm sleeping and I'm just pulling it up gently. So I'm grabbing from under my feet, pulling through the yin channel of the legs, through the torso, all the way up. And then here, when I open, I keep what we call the palm position in Taiji Qigong Shibashi. So the fingers are tied together, not strong, but just gently touching, slightly stretch upward with the thumb open. And when I push, I don't want to visualize that I'm or feel that I'm pushing with all of my hand, but I have just a slight rounded aspect where the focus of the push is on the side of my palm. So as I'm here and as I'm pushing forward, you see that my hand are not fully flat, but there's just a little bit of that roundedness to bring the push on under my small finger, my pinky. So I relax as I'm here. I relax my fingers slightly separate, grabbing from the earth, pulling through, feeling that extension opening through the ribs, allowing the elbow to come down, and then gently pushing forward. Up. Hands start to close from the pinky all the way to the index and then the thumb, gently pulling the chi up all the way to the top of the clavicle, and then pushing forward and out gently. So using the breath in order to pull the arm up as we follow the rising of the breath, naturally create the ripple through the arms, and then as we exhale, relaxing, there's that expression forward coming through. So really using the breath as the internal engine, so to speak, to allow that pulling through, fusing with the rising movement of chi and that opening through the breathing, and then letting it gently come out through the palm as we're pushing. Um, our breathing, we have a tendency to see it as mostly being pulling air inside and then pushing it out. That's part of what it does, but it's also a very strong stimulant for bringing blood back into the heart and then allowing it to flow through the body. As we're using abdominal breathing, the abdomen, the pressure coming down from the diaphragm and that tonicity from all the different muscle group maintaining or containing that pressure into the abdomen creates a very strong positive pressure from here. So all the fluids and blood that are around the organ gets over pressurized, but at the same time as the diaphragm is going down, we're creating less pressure in the chest. And then we add the thoracic breathing on top of it, opening even more, creating less and less pressure. So we have this extra pressure here and this negative pressure on top, which this negative pressure is essential to suck the air in, but it also helps to suck the fluid up, or more especially the blood, into the heart so that the heart can spread it through the lungs. So we have this dual mechanism of compress, putting more pressure, and opening on top, which help to bring it up into the heart, filling up through the lung. And as we exhale, we just relax and we allow gravity to do its natural course, bringing the blood down through the body. So we have this pressurized aspect. It's also why we want to straighten the legs so that the path of the vein through the legs are a bit more vertical, a bit easier to suck everything up. And we're using slight muscle movement to stimulate that effect up, bringing it to the heart as we inhale. And then as we exhale, we just relax, allowing the natural flow to happen downward. As we're doing this, we also have a similar effect with the movement of the spine going up and the opening of the bone of the sacrum, which create that negative pressure around the brain, which is very light, but just enough to pull the cerebrospinal fluid up, nourishing the brain. And then as we exhale and relax, we allow gravity to send it back down all the way through the spine as the spine open up and allow the space to happen. As I'm inhaling, I have the movement from the coccyx, the sacrum, starting to stretch and put the spine a little closer together, creating that movement up and opening through the skull. And then as I exhale, I just relax and let everything naturally flow back down. And that's why when we relax, we have this downward movement happening, gathering a little bit more because that pressure is being released around the lower abdomen. The blood comes back down, kind of fills us up, and we have that heavier feeling as we relax and exhale. So although this is part of every movement we've seen so far, this particular movement, the dragon testing his palm, allows for an easier moment to feel it, to play with it, and to discover it so that we can feel it afterwards in all of the other movement. So let's do that movement again, and then we'll connect it with the whole form, and we'll practice the whole form up to this point. Feeling the breath, relaxing onto our legs, adjusting the hips so that our pelvic bowl is vertical, feeling from the tip of the sit bone down to the heels that there's this nice straight line that's present, almost like if we're sitting on a pole connecting our heels to our buttocks. And at the same time, feeling that the weight of our body is at the center of our feet or above the arch of the foot, allowing the arch of the foot to naturally kind of pulls and grab the ground, and then relaxing. Let's do this as a warm up for the movement we're about to do. Our hands will grab through the feet, not close completely, but create kind of a suction cup as we create a suction cup through the feet. Inhaling, feeling the pull coming into the lower dantian. And then just relaxing, exhaling, let the chi circulate through the legs, through the feet, and into the ground. Inhaling up, creating a suction cup and pulling with it through the feet and through the legs and with the palm. And then gently exhaling and relaxing. Inhaling up, filling the lower dantian all the way to the diaphragm, exhaling down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now gently closing the fist as we inhale, pulling the chi through all the way up to the shoulders. Letting the elbows sink, feeling the forward push of the chi coming through to the palm and down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Keep riding the wave, palm turned back. Inhale, allowing your arms to rise above the head, palm turning to the sky, opening to the side, and coming down. Inhaling up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Being on top of a mountain, looking far away into the horizon. One more. Palms connecting together. Up. Inhale up. Feeling the rising of the chi through the spine, up to the forehead, and down under the feet, deep into the earth. Inhale as you go up. Exhale as you come down. Let's do one more. Separating the hands, opening the right foot more or less 45-degree out. Inhale, dropping the left heel forward as I raise my arm. Exhale, stepping forward, rotating from the waist, allowing the arm to rise and float. Inhale, bring the weight back. Exhale, forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bringing the feet together. Shifting weight. Exhale, stepping forward with the right leg. Inhale, back. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bring the feet together, pulling the chi. Tip of the left toe. Exhale as we push the chi down through the leg into the ground, releasing. Inhale, pulling in. Exhale, pushing down through the leg and out. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. One more each side. In. Out. In. Out. Feet parallel, fisherman cast its net. Inhale as you go to the left. Exhale as you go to the right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. The immortal pointing the way to health and longevity. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. One more each side. In. Out. Up. Hands on the waist. In. Raising the leg. Out. Stretching the heel. In. Bringing the leg back. Out and down. Out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. One more. In. Inhaling. The stork praying at the moon. Exhale. In. One more each side. And the dragon testing its claws, its palm. Inhaling up. Exhaling as we gently push and sit down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. Taking a moment to enjoy the feeling of the exercise we just did. Mm. Gently rubbing the palms together. Mm. Good. How are you guys doing? Any questions so far? While I take a little sip of water. All right. Seems not. Hmm. Good. So, thank you very much for being here again today, guys. I'll keep this one a little shorter. Already did a lot of good work with the breathing, and hopefully you were able to feel how the breath connects with the movement and allows us to push a little further. Um, Actually, here, let's try one more little thing to finish it up. You're welcome. Um, Positioning of the arms as we are doing here the push and some aspect linking it to the structure. So as we're going up, we have this openness from the shoulder, allowing the elbow to push out, which allow that stretching and opening of the ribs to the side. As the elbow come down, we get to push forward and have the elbow here down forward. The reason here is that if we have more of a rounded position, we have a lot of strength on the horizontal plane and rotational plane, but not so much forward. So if I was to come here and then push with my arms up, there's not the same kind of sensation. You can try it for yourself, pulling it up and trying to push forward, it doesn't feel as good. It feels good to try to go into a rotating aspect from the waist, but not so much for the push. We need this opening here to really allow the shoulder blade to sink better, to open the ribs. If I was to keep my elbows to the side and just pull it up, as I reach here, there's a tense up a little bit feeling on the upper lungs. And I don't really get to have that full expansion of the ribs that I could feel if I'm here. Opening it really open the upper part, open the shoulder well, that space between the clavicle, the back of the upper trapezius, and the tip of the shoulder. And so having this rotation, opening everything, allow me to be much more fluid and then being able to push. As I'm pushing here, that's why I want the elbow to kind of come back down to help gently with the exhale and to focus the push into the palm. So just a little extra tidbit for closing up. So thank you guys for joining me today. Next class will be on Wednesday at the same time. And I'm looking forward to see you again. If you have any question afterwards, well, feel free to put it down in the comment section below. And I'll be seeing you soon. Bye bye. Thank you for joining.